Exam times are stressful, and the stress reaches its peak in the examination hall, which should actually be other way around, as stress should be the lowest in the examination hall. And in that stressful time, we tend to make a lot of mistakes which we regret about later. So hello everyone, this is Dr. Nikita Nanwani here, your educator, mentor and friend. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 7 most commonly made mistakes on the exam day and in the examination hall, which we regret about later. So this video is like a word of caution for each one of you so that you do not make any of these mistakes in the examination hall. So watch the video now and thank me later after the exam for preventing you from making these mistakes. So, mistake number 1. Please reach the examination hall well in time with all the documents that are required. So make sure you are reading the instructions that have been given in the information bulletin and on your admit card very well. You are carrying the printout of your admit card, the IDs that are required, you are wearing the proper dress that is written in the information bulletin, and make sure you are reaching well in time. Mistake number 2, time management. So what majority of the students tend to do is, in the first hour, we try to solve the questions ekdam aaram se. We tend to overthink on the questions, and then later on in the later half of the exam, we realize that, oh, now I have so many questions and I have less time. And that builds up the stress. So please make sure that your time management is in place right from the minute 1 of the examination hall. So let's say if you have 200 questions and you have 3 hours, so tell yourself beforehand that in the first hour, how many questions should I finish? And at the end of 1 hour, make sure that you are well on track. So let's say that if you are doing it as 65, 70, however you want to put it, like in the 3 hours, and I would actually say that plan to finish your exam at least 15 minutes prior so that you have some time left for reviewing the questions that you want to have a look at again. So make sure you are not solving the questions at a turtle's pace initially and then you're running like a rabbit in the end, right? So make sure it's a constant pace that you have always thought of in the examination hall. Mistake number 3, overthinking. So we tend to overthink in the examination hall. Even the easy questions, we think that examiner aisa easy question nahi pooch sakta, right? It's not possible for such an easy question to come in an examination like INI-CET or an exam like NEET PG. There is some twist in this question that I am missing on. And in that process, we try to overthink and we tend to make the mistake and mark the wrong answer. Please don't do that. You will have few questions like that which are straightforward, which are one-liner, which seem very easy. Don't overthink on the questions, right? Then you have the next mistake, silly mistakes. The silly mistakes that we commonly do in the examination hall are not reading the question carefully, missing on the words like which of the following is not true, missing on not, missing on except. So make sure that you are reading every question very carefully. You are reading every question like it's a new question, without any bias or without any notion that, oh, this is a question that I've seen in the past. This is a previously asked question. These are generally the traps laid by the examiner. A question which looks like a humshakal of the previous year question, actually a one-word twist here and there and the answer changes. So please do not get trapped there. Read every question like it's a new question and read the question very, very carefully. Next mistake, keeping the questions for review. What we tend to do is, in the first go, we try to mark the answers only for the questions where we are very sure about. We think that this answer nahi aa raha hai, we'll come back to that later on. But what happens even in the second read, our confusing mind always, we are not sure about the answer. So please don't do that. I would say that mark the answer in the first read itself. If you have read a question, if you have invested your time into reading a question, then mark the answer in that first go itself. Right? So very, very important, keep as less questions as possible for review, because especially in exam like INI-CET, the questions which are kept for review are not considered for evaluation of your marks, unlike the NEET PG where the questions you have kept for review are considered for evaluation. So please keep this thing in mind, and especially for INI-CET exam, keep as less questions as possible for review. Next mistake, attempting less. So again, as I said, we try to be very, very defensive and we try to mark answers only for the questions that we are pretty sure of. Trust me that as your number of questions that you are attempting, your score also improves. But that does not mean that you attempt all the 200 questions. So how many questions should be attempted is, Like exam like INI-CET, 185 questions is something that you have to mark. Above that, whether you have to go till 190 or 195, 197, that will be decided by the difficulty level of the paper. So you will have to personally judge on the exam day that how difficult or how easy the paper seems. Then how would you decide that? You would decide that based on how many questions do you think are the ones which are like previous year questions or previous year topics. If the paper is based on those topics, that means majority of the students would have read that and the competition would be tough. So in that case, you need to be more aggressive and you need to attempt more. If you think that there are quite a few questions which are like some eccentric new alien words in the exam which you have never heard of and you think that nobody else would also know about it, then those are the questions that you should not attempt. So basically, the questions where you are absolutely not aware of, it's like an absolute alien question or a fact-based question, like a half-life of a drug. If you know it, you know it, right? If you don't know it, there's no logic behind it that you would do a logical guessing. So those are the questions that you should not attempt. But otherwise, the questions where you have been able to rule out two options, you definitely have to mark answers to those questions. Questions where you've been able to rule out one question, if you are reaching that 185 ka mark ki haan mujhe अच्छे से आ रहा है, a lot of questions I've been able to answer, then maybe you can skip those. Otherwise, if you're struggling to reach to that mark, you should also be marking answers to those questions as well. Right? So make sure you are following all of this. And the most important mistake that I want you to be aware of is getting panicked. Majority of the students, especially the ones who are like, the top performing students, are the ones who tend to get panicked in the examination hall and they tend to lose the game. Now, I know that this is easier said than done to maintain your calm in the examination hall, but trust me, if you do that one small thing that is maintaining your calm in the examination hall, you would definitely ace the exam. Now, how do you maintain your calm is detach yourself from the results of the exam. Detach yourself from the expectation that you have from yourself. Detach yourself from the expectation that your parents, your family, your society has from you. I know that it builds up a lot of pressure, and in that pressure, we tend to underperform. Keep telling yourself that this is like just another exam. Ye nahi to koi aur sahi, right? I would sincerely pray that each one of you perform well in the exam. But let's say, God forbid, if it does not go the way that we expected. You always have another exam which is upcoming, right? So do not attach too much importance to any exam or its results. It is not the end of the world, whether you perform very good or whether you don't perform good. Everything is temporary, be it success or be it failure. Trust me, it is temporary. Even if you get the rank 1 in your PG entrance exam, you join residency, nobody remembers post that, like you are rank 1 and you get some special excuses. Right? So remember that it really does not matter in the long run, right? Sooner or later, each one of you, I'm pretty sure, will go into your dream branch and dream college, and everybody's time pace is different, right? Someone might get into the first attempt, someone might not be able to get into the third attempt as well. But it's absolutely fine in the long run. It never matters. Trust me, have been there, done that, into the practice, so we know that it really does not matter. So these are some mistakes that I want each one of you to be very, very cautious about, and keep revising these mistakes on the last day. Anticipate that this is something that can happen and make sure that you do not do this, because I don't want any one of you to regret post-exam. All I want is each one of you, when you're coming out of the examination hall, all of you are coming out with a smiling face and with the satisfaction, with the contentment that I have given my best. This is the best that I could do. Now, whatever are the results, that is basically my destiny. But from my end, I have given my best. So just try to give in your best, and whatever would be the best for you is what will fall into your place. Right? So that was for this one, guys. Wishing you all the very best for all the exams that you are planning to appear in the coming days, and would be waiting to hear from you post-exam with some good results. Thank you so much for watching this one. See you in my next one. Till then, goodbye, take care, and keep studying, keep revising, and keep winning. Thank you.
Subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss an update from Prep Ladder.